Once upon a time, in the bright and bustling village of Greenleaf Valley, lived a dog named Buzo. Now, Buzo was not just any dog. Oh no! He was the proudest, most ambitious dog you could ever meet. With his sleek fur, shiny nose, and ears that flopped whenever he ran, Buzo looked like a champion. And if there was one thing Buzo loved more than chasing squirrels, it was food. Delicious, mouth-watering, belly-filling food, but here's the thing, Buzo was never satisfied. Give him one bone, he'd want two. Give him two bones, he'd dream of three. And so, our greedy little Buzo spent his days sniffing around the village for the tastiest treats he could find, one bright morning, when the sun was shining like melted butter. Buzo trotted down the muddy paths with his nose twitching and his tail wagging like a flag. Suddenly, something amazing caught his eye. Whoa! Is that? No. Could it be? Buzo's mouth dropped open. There, lying in the grass like a tiny treasure chest, was the biggest, juiciest piece of meat he had ever seen. Oh, it was thick and tender, with bits of roasted goodness still clinging to it. Buzo's eyes sparkled like stars. Oh ho ho! This is my lucky day. He barked happily and snatched up the bone, biting into it like he hadn't eaten for days. The flavor exploded in his mouth. It was pure heaven. He held the bone tightly in his jaws and started trotting toward the creek to bury it. After all, he didn't want any sneaky, nosy creatures trying to steal his prize. Not the crows, not the raccoons, and definitely not that grumpy old cat, Mr. Whiskers. Now, listen everyone. The story is about to get really exciting. And before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to JonaToons Studio. You wouldn't want to miss all the amazing stories I have for you. Back to Buzo. As Buzo crossed the narrow wooden bridge over the creek, he hummed a little doggy tune, feeling like the king of the world. But then, what was that? He looked down into the water and his eyes almost popped out of his head. Down below was another dog, staring right back at him. And guess what? That dog was holding an even bigger, juicier piece of meat. Buzo's paws almost slipped right off the bridge. What? How dare he have something better than mine? He growled, his fur bristling with envy. Without thinking twice, Buzo barked as loudly as he could, "Hey you! Drop that meat right now or else!" But the moment he opened his mouth, splash! His own bone tumbled from his jaws, plopping into the water and sinking down, down, down into the darkness. Buzo gasped. His eyes went wide. No! My meat! Come back! He cried, his paws splashing helplessly in the water. But it was too late. His delicious treasure was gone. He peered into the water, only to realize something even worse. There was no other dog. There was no bigger piece of meat. It had been nothing but his own reflection all along. Oh, fish sticks! Buzo muttered, feeling his ears droop with shame. I got tricked by my own silly greed. He sat on the bridge, soaking wet and completely miserable. And as he stared at the gentle ripples of the creek, he began to understand something important. Something big, you know, if I'd just appreciated what I had instead of getting greedy for more, I'd be burying that lovely bone in my secret stash right now, Buzo sighed. But no, I had to go barking at a shadow. Days passed, and Buzo's little accident became the talk of the valley. The squirrels giggled about it. The crows squawked it from the treetops. Even Mr. Whiskers snickered and called him bonehead whenever he passed by. But Buzo didn't mind. Not anymore. He had learned something valuable that day. From then on, Buzo stopped chasing illusions and started appreciating the little joys he already had. A nice meal. A good nap. And even the simple pleasure of rolling in the grass on a sunny day. He still searched for food, of course. But now, whenever he found something special, he smiled, wagged his tail, and whispered to himself, "It's enough. And I'm grateful." Because Buzo had learned the greatest lesson of all. Greed is like a shadow. It always seems bigger than what you have, but the moment you reach for it, what you truly have slips away. So, treasure what you have. It's more precious than you think. And that's the story of Buzo, the dog who lost his bone but found something much greater, wisdom. Oh. And to you watching this story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to JonaToons Studio. More fun and amazing tales are coming your way.